Will they sound like an Indian telemarketer when dealing with my clients?
Okay, now I actually get this question asked a lot. And I don't think it's so much about the whole idea of an Indian telemarketer. I think it's more about culture and language barriers and feeling like you're not being listened to. So I'm going to give you two quick examples of this. And the first example that comes to mind straight away for me is Telstra, and when they set up an office in India. Now, they were one of the first companies to actually set up an outsourcing centre overseas, and at the time when they went through the whole process of setting it up in India, their approval ratings dropped to an all-time low. So approximately around about 5 years ago, they actually transitioned to the Philippines with offices set up all over the place, including Bacolod, which is where our office is actually set up. And once they actually moved, they made that move to the Philippines, their approval rating and their share price went up again. Now, it was as a result of a number of different areas, including, the business restructuring and everything else like that. But I believe one of the key reasons is the people that were actually calling in, and when they were making outbound calls, they felt like they were being heard and their issues were being resolved. Now, the second reason that comes to mind or example is Indian telemarketers. Now, when Indian telemarketers are calling, and it's not as common now because of the do not call register, they were calling at odd times of the day, and they were so hard to get off the phones. It was so frustrating. Now, again, it's the same reason. Now, it wasn't necessarily that they were bad people, if you were to call it that, but people felt like they weren't being listened to because you're trying to hang up the phone, and they just kept going. Now, whilst I get why Telstra and other businesses went down that path to outsource that way, it certainly has not done any favours for our industry. So back to the question. The team, if I want to be specific, the team have more of an American accent. And if you listen to the person that's asking the questions today, that's Brian from our team, one of the guys within our office. Now, the cultural similarities between the Philippines and Australia are more aligned, meaning that Filipinos handle calls and they're able to answer and resolve issues a lot more smoother. And I mean, Telstra and other businesses like Apple the other day when I was ringing up when I had an issue with my phone, person within the Philippines actually handled my call. A lot of businesses are now continuing to transition, and these are examples of why. So like with any role, it's not just about the country you're choosing the person from. It's also about getting the best people for that role. And if you have a person that's making or receiving calls for the business, you need to make sure that you have a person with the right knowledge and how to handle different questions and scenarios, that you put in place scripts where they can actually handle the calls. Even if it is a person that's ringing in to ask a question about your business or to make a booking and an appointment or whatever it is, you need to make sure that that person understands the different questions that they're going to have and the answers for those questions. And most importantly, you make sure that you get a person with the right mindset. Yeah, the right mindset. And we have a client set up that handle incoming calls, and as long as they have that right mindset and they know how to handle those scenarios, then they're set. The approval ratings for the clients are up.